Welcome. The topic for today is Shabbos preparations, Friday morning. What can we do before Shabbos to enhance our Shabbos experience? What can we do on Friday morning specifically to enhance our upcoming Shabbos experience? When God gave us the Shabbos over 3,300 years ago, He also informed us that it was a gift. Shabbos is not just a list of rules and restrictions, what you can do, what you can't do. What it really is a gift of experience. The Talmud in Beitza 16a says the following. God said to Moshe, Moshe, Matuna toiva yesh li beveis genozai. I have a very special gift in my precious treasure house. V'Shabbos shmo, the name of it is Shabbos. V'ani mevakesh litn li Yisrael. I want to give it to the Jewish people. Leich v'hodia oisem. Go and let them know that it's a gift. So, at face value, this is a little difficult to understand. What type of gift is God going to give us? Is He going to give us jewelry? Is He going to give us food? What is Hashem going to give us? And secondly, what does it mean that the gift was just waiting around until we received it in God's treasure house? What does God hold in His treasure house? We know that kings generally hold their most precious possessions in treasure house. What will be the most precious possession of God? And here's what God was saying to Moshe. I want to give the Jewish people the mitzvah of Shabbos. It's going to look to them like a bunch of obligations, prohibitions, rules and restrictions, but that's not really what it is. What it really is the ultimate gift of experience. Because, watch this. People are always ready to pay some of the largest sums for a unique experience. If a person has an only daughter, and it comes a day and he finally marries off his only daughter, he'll pay a large amount of his resources to make that wedding as beautiful as it could be. If a person wants to go on a cruise, they want to see different parts of the world that they never saw, especially if it's an exotic cruise, they'll be willing to take out a large part of their funding to have that experience. I remember a number of years ago, there was a country in the world that was contemplating selling tickets to the moon. Now, I'm not sure who would pay the millions of dollars required to have a trip to the moon, but you see how much people would pay for an experience. What God was telling Moshe was that I want to give the Jewish people the best experience of all. It's an experience that's sitting around in my treasure house for a long time. And now I'm going to give it to them as a gift. What is that experience that's really the best experience of all? So God says, it's in my treasure house. It's very precious to me. I would like to give the Jewish people the experience of myself. So each and every Shabbos, when the Shabbos comes around, God says, I am going to personally make a visit to your home, free of charge. I'm going to give you the experience that everyone in the world is yearning for, the experience of God, the experience of myself. So says God to Moshe, go and let the Jewish people know. Let them know that when they have all these laws and rules, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, they shouldn't think that that's what it's about. They shouldn't think I'm trying to prohibit them and hold them back. They should realize it's all part of the experience. This is, in order to have the experience properly, what needs to be done. If a person is marrying off his daughter, he can't just show up. He has to prepare, sometimes weeks, sometimes months before. And when he's at the wedding, he has to be in the right frame of mind. He has to be in the right place, greet the guests, has to be in the right place at the right time. Same thing when a person goes on a cruise. They have to follow captain's orders. Sometimes they have to go down into their room. Sometimes they have to come up to the deck. And if they want to have the experience properly, they're going to just have to follow the rules. That's what Shabbos is about. We might have prohibitions, prohibited acts we're not allowed to do. It's all for the purpose of having the experience. We might have obligations that we have to fulfill. It's all for the purpose of having that experience, the ultimate experience of feeling the closeness of God. Now, we'll just add, contrary to what many people believe, that God comes down in fire and thunder and lightning with a whole procession. The prophets tell us that the sense of God is really determined in a still, silent moment. God doesn't come in times of noise, and there's a lot of noise around, not in times of fire, not when things are cloudy. God's presence is felt when a person can reach that place where he can sense the still, silent voice inside of himself. And so therefore, God says, I want you to experience this each and every Shabbos. The way to do it is certain things that you proclaim when Shabbos begins. You'll say Good Shabbos, you'll mention that it's taking place. During the whole day of Shabbos, you can't do this act, you can't do that act. What's the purpose of all that? Because all of that is distractions. It creates a lot of static in our receivers, and we can't have the experience that comes through the still silent voice. So we need to follow the rules in order to have the experience. The goal is the experience, even more so to speak. The goal is the experience, and that's why we have the rules. This understanding totally turns around our perception of Shabbos. Many people walk around feeling, Shabbos, I can't do this, I can't do this, I'm not allowed to, I am allowed to. It's not what Shabbos is really about. What Shabbos is really about is each and every week we prepare ourselves for an experience that the whole world is yearning for. An experience to sense truly within ourselves the presence and closeness of God. And so therefore, this is a very important introduction to our topic for today, preparations for Shabbos, Friday morning. Because any time that you come to a very important experience, you need to prepare. You want to go on a long journey, you need to prepare. You want to get married, you need to prepare. When we have the greatest experience of all, when we have that experience of closeness with God, one time each and every week, we need to prepare. And so the halacha tells us what we need to do. When we get together during these study times, we want to clarify what we need most practically to do. That it should come out as clear as possible. And so we go over in certain points, almost bullet points, what it is that we have to do. What is it that we have to do, according to the halacha, to prepare properly for Shabbos on Friday morning? The verse in Shmois 16:5 says, V'hechini es asher yavi, v'hechinu et asher yaviu. And they shall prepare what they're going to bring for Shabbos. Shabbos might well be the only mitzvah in the Torah that God tells us explicitly to prepare for. It says in the Torah, God tells Moses, God tells Moshe, and they shall prepare for Shabbos. And it says even more explicitly, V'hoya bayom hashishi, and it shall be on Yom Hashishi, on Friday. The preparation needs to be before Shabbos. Bayom Hashishi, the Talmud tells us in Brachas 27a that the word boiker indicates the first 3 hours of the day. Bayom Hashishi, and it shall be on the day of the 6th day, it shall be on the day of Friday, during the first 3 hours, a person should make some sort of preparation. And so, the great halachic poskim tell us that it's only appropriate that early Friday morning, a person should try to acquire something that will be usable for Shabbos. He should buy an article of food, an item that will add to his Shabbos experience. The great halachic authority, the Chafetz Chaim of blessed memory, who wrote an acclaimed halachic compilation, the Mishnah Brura, writes that a person would even be able to do this. They would even be able to go and buy something for Shabbos before the morning prayers on Friday. Even though usually we don't do any type of work or personal type of occupations before prayers, in this case, a person would be allowed to go to the store and purchase something for Shabbos even before morning prayers, the first 3 hours of the morning on Friday, because the Torah wants us to prepare for the Shabbos experience. Furthermore, we learn in the halacha that when a person purchases something in the store, it should be that which is elegant and most enjoyable to him. It shouldn't be a regular, everyday type of food. The food and drink that a person purchases for Shabbos should be of the most delicious and pleasurable type. The prophets tell us, V'karasa l'Shabbos oinig. If you want to have the full experience of Shabbos, if you want to have the full experience of God's presence on the seventh day, it's not enough just to experience it spiritually. The body has to be happy as well. We should try and have as much permissible pleasures as possible on Shabbos. And so therefore the food and drink that we buy special for Shabbos should be something of the best type that our means allow realistically. And lastly, in regard to this point, when a person purchases something, the great halachic authority, the Magen Avram, mentions that a person should try when possible, when he acquires something for Shabbos, to actually say audibly, L'koved Shabbos, out of respect of Shabbos, for the sake of Shabbos. This is for Shabbos. Because that brings down already a spiritual preparation upon the item, upon the food, for the Shabbos experience. So, to sum up the first point, we need, each and every person needs to make some sort of preparation in acquiring an item for the upcoming Shabbos. Doesn't have to be expensive. It could be a small item, but it should be something that's pleasurable to him. It should be a special item. And when he actually acquires the item and purchases it, it's preferable that he actually add the words, L'koved Shabbos, for Shabbos. So that was the first point today, that a person should purchase something over the course of the week, preferably during the first 3 hours of Friday morning, but any time during the week, for the sake of Shabbos. The second point that's brought down in the halacha as proper preparation on Erev Shabbos, before Shabbos comes in, is that each and every person do an actual act in preparation for the Shabbos. This means that even if a person has all of his needs taken care of, someone does the cleaning, someone does the cooking, someone does the laundry, everything is taken care of. Nonetheless, it's necessary, according to the Talmud, that each person actually do something themselves before Shabbos. The Talmud in Kiddushin 41a tells us that great leaders of the Jewish people, even though obviously they would be busy with their studies, almost constantly would take out time before Shabbos to do an actual act of preparation. A lot of the preparations for Shabbos, as we know, depend on the woman of the house. There are many men, however, because of this, who have the custom that they specifically cook the fish. There are some men who put up the food to warm before Shabbos. Some men prepare the candles. Even a boy over bar mitzvah or a girl over bas mitzvah should help to prepare. Children are often all too ready to either peel vegetables, to clean kitchen cabinets, to polish the silver. And even children who are younger than bar bas mitzvah age can be trained with this mitzvah. Everyone should try to do something in preparation of the Shabbos. So, the first 2 points, again, we should try and purchase something during the week, an item that will be used for our Shabbos experience. The second point is that each and every person should try to do an actual act of preparation sometime before Shabbos in preparation for the upcoming Shabbos experience. The third point for today is that as midday approaches, when we hit the point of midday, halachically, on Friday, a person should start to wane down. He should start to slow down his activities and start to move into the experience of Shabbos. We know that if a person's going very fast, a person's traveling on a highway, 70, maybe more miles per hour, and then he's going off on a ramp, he goes off to a small suburb, and the speed limit over there might be 30, 25. We know that he has to change gears. He doesn't go full speed until he reaches the suburb, and then all of a sudden change gears. When he's already on the ramp, he has to slow down. So too, the halacha requires of us that once we come to midday on Friday, we start to wane down our physical activities. It's prohibited after Friday midday to begin any type of prohibited activity that's unnecessary or is just being started as an additional activity before Shabbos. If it's for the purpose of preparation of Shabbos, of course you can. But if it's just for extra profit, there's no monetary loss involved, a person may not actually begin that act, may not begin the project. Obviously, if there's monetary loss involved, a person can work as much as they need to work. But at a certain point on Friday afternoon, we need to change gears. We need to prepare ourselves for the Shabbos experience. And so the 3 points that we went over today, what can a person do Friday morning to enhance their upcoming Shabbos experience? Number 1, make sure to buy something. Doesn't have to be expensive, even one item to enhance your Shabbos experience. Number 2, make sure to try and do at least one act of preparation, physically, yourself, because that will add to your whole Shabbos experience. Number 3, once it comes midday on Friday, not to begin any type of activity that's additional and not required in order for a person to actually enhance and benefit. A person cannot begin any type of activity that will not involve monetary loss after Friday midday. May God help, and we be able to do the preparations for the Shabbos experience properly, so that each of us can merit that awesome experience of God's presence coming into our homes each and every week on the day of Shabbos and filling that silent, small voice inside of our souls.